Okay, we are over in Cricut Design Space and we are going to start this project that I've been sent. First of all, we're going to go, it's an iron-on t-shirt we're working with, so we're going to click on that and we're going to go women's size, her size, we're going to 2XL, I'm going to do width 10 by 10, which I'm quite happy with, and I'm just going to hit start design. Okay, that makes it really easy. So as you can see, this is our design space here. Now, what I'm going to do is I've already uploaded the image that I'm going to use, and it took me a wee bit to get this image perfect. I had to download it a few times and edit it around a bit because it was a wee bit pixelated. So I will add the image, but when I put it on the screen I am going to blur it slightly just because for privacy basically, so I can make sure that the person I'm posting this with is okay with me sharing this picture. So I'm just going to click on it, add to canvas. Alright, so this is kind of the maximum size. If you look at your print then cut here, just open up my layers panel so you can kind of see, you've got a preview of the picture here, what it would look like on a shirt. So I go to my layers panel and it tells me here that it says that the image is a bit poor, but that's okay. That's kind of the best that we can do with the resolution we've got. I have tweaked it as best I can. If I were to, I'll just close this again because we want to look at our preview, which is this one here. So first of all, the shirt color is going to change. It's not white, it is black. So there you go, that's it on a black shirt, and I shrink it ever so slightly. I didn't want to shrink it too much, just enough to make it fit perfectly center. There we go. So it's going to be big enough on the shirt, but it's not going to take up too much space, and it's not, you're going to have difficulties with under the arm and so forth. So this is just a guess of what it looks like. It's not actually going to look this way, but anyhow, you get the idea. So then I go and put in a text box, and I'll just click on my text box and move it, and in my text box is going to say hi. Oops, wrong one. Yeah. Now this is because, as you can see, the person in the image is giving them a karate chop. So it says hiya. Now I'm going to find the lettering that I like first for this. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to double click on it so it highlights it completely. I'm going to go to Cricut. And if you wait, you'll see the letters to the side have changed now to kind of I suppose, an example of it for you. So you actually don't have to click on each one to find the one that you want. So I kind of want a bit of a bubble letter, but I don't want it to be too bubbly. Let me see, I actually kind of like this one. Let's have a look. Okay, that's not bad. I'm just going to quickly check what ones I've used recently, because I did have one that I really liked and I did use it. I think it might be this one. Yeah, this is the one I like. Okay, so that one's called Catchland. It seems to be one of my favorites, and if you like it, you just click download and it gets saved into your ones you like, and also you bookmark it. When you look up here and you go bookmarked, it shows you all the ones that you have bookmarked that you've liked or used. Okay, so we've got our letters, that's good. So I'm just going to close that, but don't you see that now? I'm just going to make them so that they fit nicely. And this picture is going to be reasonably big so you can see it. Now let's change the colour. It's going to be a nice hot pink sort of colour. I'm thinking this one, oh, that might be a bit too, maybe you want to go a little bit redder. Maybe that one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now you can see it, and you can see on the shirt they've put it up for us to see on there as well what it looks like. So this is what I'm going with, and I'm going to now hit edit, and I want to add an offset, and so it's now in this effects panel. I can do other videos later on if you'd like on how this works, but for now we're just going to go to where it says offset, and it's going to put an offset around it. Now I want mine to be a little bit bigger, so we're going to go like that. Maybe a touch more. Yeah, okay. That's going to be our offset, so I'm going to hit apply, and you'll notice there's like these little bits here. I don't want those, so as you can see, it's on basic cut, which is my offset. I'm going to go down to the bottom right here where it says contour, and you're going to just find those little bits. Now on mine it's pretty easy. I'm just going to hit hide all contours. That one can stay on. And now you'll see they've all gone black, and you click apply and those little dashes are gone. Okay, now there's one more step that I'm going to make, and that is because this pink lettering is actually going to be done in puffy. So I'm going to highlight them all, and I'm going to go down to here so you can see both are green highlighted. So it says slice. I'm going to click that once. What it's going to do is it's going to slice all of this out. So if I pick up my yellow layer, and you see how it's sliced it out, right? So we're going to delete the middle. This is going to go back in here, and we're just going to highlight it all. I'm going to go align, center, and that's it. It's done. It's ready to go. So we're just going to head over now to print it, to making it. So I'll go make, and I'm not going to save it at the moment because I may want to edit it. So this is our image on an A4 sheet. It's the largest we can get, but because we're working with H2V, it's always print and cut. You always make sure your mirror is on, which it is on, and you can edit your material that you're printing on in here. And I've got mine's an 8.5 by 11 letter. You can go up higher if you want to, but that's the one that I'm using, and we're going to send that over to the printer. And then there's this one, is the same thing. You can make sure your mirror is on each of your mats. Okay, and we're just going to send them. Now this here, when I do this, I'll show you. I go continue, send to printer, and this little box will always come up to tell you where the sensor marks are. This is if you're going to put it back through your Cricut machine to cut it out for stickers and so forth. We're not going to do that. We're just literally going to print it and cut it out ourselves. I always turn my bleed off. I don't see it necessary to have on. I use system dialogues, and this is my printer that I'm printing from. I'm going to hit print. It's going to go to my settings, and what I prefer to do is I make sure it's the right printer, which it is. I hit on my preferences. I always change this to matte because for some reason matte comes out so much better in this particular printer. I put it on high, I click OK, and I click print, and then that's it. It will print out, and then once that's done, we'll come back. So it's printed. This is our screen now. It's done, so we click done, and it's going to ask me to connect to my maker, so I'm going to connect to my maker machine. So I'm going to try again and get it to connect, and continue. Okay, we're at the maker machine, so now we're going to put our material on our mats. Make sure that if you see, you can highlight it like that, hold your mouse over it, it pops up bigger, you can see what's going where on your mat. So this is our glitter layer. So I'm going to use glitter iron-on, and I always put my pressure at more with glitter just because it seems to be that sort of material. After a while my blade gets a little bit blunt. I like to make sure it's really cut through. I'm going to put that in, send it over to my machine, and we're going to cut that out.
Now we have got our mat out and we've got our HTV. I'm using the glitter here, and you can see I put it glitter side down, then I realized, what am I doing? It's meant to be shiny side down and matte side up, which I quickly changed. I placed it on my mat and realized that my mat is not as strong as I would like it to be. It's a little bit weak, so I've gone through with some tape here and I'm taping it down. I'm going to make sure that it's all stuck down. I'm going to measure to where it needs to be cut to, and I'm just going to cut it off and then continue taping it down. Okay, now it's going through the machine, and I love my Maker 3. It does a fabulous job of cutting, and it's cool. Now you can see I've used extra tape because my mat is actually weaker than I thought it was, but that's okay. Sometimes we have to do that. I'm peeling it off and sticking it to the side because I don't like to waste any tape. I'm going to get my weeder and I'm going to start weeding this out. Now this would be so much easier if I actually had a light underneath, and I have been thinking about getting one for when I'm weeding out my glitter so that I can see exactly where my lines are for where it has cut in. Now I'm getting my puffy and I'm placing it onto my mat, once again using that tape because that mat's a little bit weak now, no longer has as much stick as it originally.
So now we're going to work with our pink, and it's puffy, it's on mirror, which is great, but because I'm using puffy material, I do like to use my glitter iron-on setting to cut through it because it's just a little bit thicker than your normal HTV, so I tend to use that, and I will put the pressure up to more just because my blade might be a little bit blunt. I want to make sure it works. Okay, so we're going to whack that through the machine, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to put it all together for you.
Here we go, we're going to put it through the machine and cut through. Now this puffy is so much thicker than normal, so I do have a little bit of trouble when I'm weeding out, but because I want to keep this real for everybody so you can see exactly how hard it can be sometimes for weeding out, I am not going to speed this up. I'm going to show you all the little issues as I go along. As you can see, it has cut through, but it just does not want to let go. A little bit of tape there, I'm going to peel that off. And it gets stuck in places, but I just use my tool to help me pull it away from the liner, and most of the time it comes away without any issues, but you will find sometimes it will be a little bit tricky and it will. So you can see here a few pieces have cut, but for some reason it just did not want to come away. So I used my tool, I rubbed it along the edge of the cutting area. I actually used my nails a little bit in this process too. Please don't tell my nail tech that I'm using them as tools. And I peel away that little bit of HTV that just will not come away from that liner. But we get there in the end. Let's pop out those little center pieces and get ready to line it up with the two sheets. So this is my glitter and I'm placing it over top. As I'm looking, I'm noticing there's a little piece missing. So thankfully I don't actually throw away my scraps. I keep them nearby and I go through them and I find that tiny little piece that I have pulled off by accident. You can see it's there. And now I'm just going to try to place it back on the liner. But the best way to do this is to put your wording down with it sticking to my desk first, placing the piece on top, and then trying to put that liner back on as best I possibly can to make sure that it lines up. Sometimes this takes a few times, but you do eventually get there if you just fiddle a little bit. And there you go. I'm just going to now go and cut down my sublimation, which is ready to go onto my project. I measure up my piece of HTV, which is a white HTV, to make sure that it is the right size and it's nice and straight. Now this is my shirt we're working with. I'm going to put my Cricut mini heat press on it just to take some moisture out, and I always lint roll to make sure there are no hairs on there. Let's place our first piece of HTV, and we're just going to tack this down, but I do use a low pressure because I don't want to melt the whole thing on for the first set. I want it to go on when I press on my sublimation, which I've just placed on now. Wow, that looks so neat. Now we're going to put down our glitter, and I place the board underneath because it does help to have that pressure. Nice flat surface. And I always wait for my glitter to cool down before I peel off that backing sheet. Now this is the HTV Puffy. I haven't worked with this one a lot, so it does come out a little bit crinkly, so I'm thinking a bit more practice will come into hand, but my client was okay with the way this came out, so I was happy just to move forward. And there you go, there's the puffy and the beautiful design ready to go to our client. I was really happy with the way this came out, and I think I may practice that puffy a little bit more, but it looked okay on the shirt.